Am I the asshole for telling my dad his grief doesn't get to dictate the name my wife and I chose for our children? My dad and I have a complicated relationship. He was divorced from my mom when I was only a baby and she died when I was very young. He was already remarried and had another child when my mom passed away, and I think he expected with time that I would forget about my mom entirely and assimilate into his new family like they were the only one. There was also a big effort to ignore my grief and to expect me to move on like nothing happened. The only time this was ever truly mentioned was when I was 13 and he sat me down and asked me to ask his wife if she'd adopt me. He told me she wanted to adopt me, but didn't want me to get angry at her for asking because I still had a photo of my mom in my bedroom and I talked about her still. During that little talk he made a point of saying his wife had raised me far longer and had done everything a real mother should, so it was time for me to acknowledge her in that role and position in my life and make it official. When I said no, he threw a little tantrum, stomping his foot and pouting before he left the room, and he never mentioned it again. But that strain could be felt. His wife died 3 years ago. I was engaged to my wife at the time and we were planning our wedding. 6 months after her death, Dad asked how I could move forward with the wedding planning. I told him I still wanted to get married. He said he couldn't understand it and he thought the wedding would be delayed for years. I told him that wasn't happening.